Hi, I'm Mark Schneider and you're watching Schneider Classics, and today we're laying work on this good old 500 Hirth. This is for my father's snowmobile that I built for him a couple years ago, and then we blew up instantly. Then we got it working again, and we started to get it firing again, and then we lost spark on. So I got to tear this thing down again, work with the magnetos and all the wiring inside, because all the wiring's trapped in the lower end of this block. For some reason, Hirth stuck it in the bottom of the block, so you have to take apart the whole damn thing. But we're going to get this thing ready to go and rebuilt, so we can put it on his snowmobile, so he can have his snowmobile again. Now, you might be going, we're not outside, we're inside, we're in the basement. But I'm going to tell you, as you can hear the good old washer telling it's almost time to change load. We had some flooding because you saw how much snow we had this year with the water. There's the other Hirth, the 450 or 440 Hirth. I might tear this down and steal the wiring from that for the 500 because we want the big boy, big old boy, even though I stole the carburetor and parts from this for that to originally run, and then that's only running on intermittently on the one spark. That's because the wiring on these things is so frail, it's horrible. So might as well stick all new wiring on this thing, break it back down to base, and get this thing played with. I decided, hey, let me work on this tonight because one, it's pouring out. That's why the basement's flooded. Good thing with that though, it's melting all the snow. So let's dive into this thing. Now, another little key feature. Today I'm just going to use my little toolkit because my big toolkit's now at my new job, working as a mechanic. So I got to play with my base tools, my original tools again. So back into this set. It's been a while since I've used this. And for you guys got to remember, if you subscribe, you might have a chance of winning not this one, but one almost exact socket set. Got her stripper right down. You know, fellas, get her a bear. So a good tip is also grab yourself some Ziplocs, grab yourself some baggies to put your bolts in and label them. And so this is for the 500 Hirth heat shield bolts. You thank yourself later. So now, turn this over. You can see we got her down to a base block. Here's the intake. We'll take that off next. Take the head off here. Ooh, she's some Allen wrenches. This thing still spins over, right? Yeah, this thing still spins over. Sucks that we've lost spark. But we'll get this thing dealt with. So I'll take the head off here. Good old magnet grabber 3000. It's strong enough that it grabs this and the washer by magnetized. Sorta. That's both heads off, and you can see they're carboned. And I can tell by this one some stuff got into it and mauled the top there. That piston's dirty, that piston's clean. So we'll have to clean these up when we put them back together. Grab our trusty pen and bag. Hirth 500 cover bolts. That's pretty cool. So right here I'm just going to show that's pretty cool. Now I do see some damage here with one of the fins. I don't know when that happened. That must have happened when we blew this out, when we blew it up for the first time. there's no damage to that. Like, there's no damage to the cylinder wall. She looks all good. Yep. And you can see there's that little tiny hole there. And if I turn the cylinder over, so that little tiny hole there, yeah, you can see some markings on that piston head. What these were, and I'm pretty sure what these were for when, because this is an aircraft motor, this is where direct fuel injection was going into these back in the 40s and 50s. I don't know, this is just my hypothesis. Fuel injection would go into these and pour into the cylinders, because you'd have a constant fuel rate because you're flying. You could always go faster and you'd gauge the throttle more and everything, and that would suck in more fuel and stuff like that, more air. But I think you would have a constant rate of fuel. Not entirely sure on that. That's just a hypothesis. That's what those are for. Where they need to get this intake off. And the head bolts are right down there. So we'll get this catered to. Got our 13 here. No, I'm probably wrong. It's probably some Imperial. No, this is such a tight fit. I'm gonna have to screw it off as it goes because I can't even get the nut. It's in and out without this coming off. So I have to do the outside ones first. I have to do them together. Alright. Well, heads are off. Now you can see the difference between the original gasket here, the brown waxy paper, and the one we made last year when we rebuilt this thing originally. So they got a lot of love now. And of course, so now we have the top off, which is as simple as that. 4 bolts on the main head unit, your intake, your exhaust, whatever else, your multiple bolts on your head. And well, this is starting to dive down. Not as much as there's some dings on the top of this piston. The hatching is still very nice. But we have to take off the front cover of this, front cover. Then this back piece is 2 pieces, which is part of the main case. We gotta undo all these screws and pull the whole top case off just to get into the wiring there. It's a process. Slowly, as this is still mounted to the engine buckets, as well as the spin, air gets sucked in through here, and there's a port right here on the back, and that's how this becomes air cooled, because the heat shield keeps all the air in, so the air comes through here and sucks in through here and cools the unit. And heave, and heave. Oh, too much heave. And heave. One lie, I love that Mashcraft has this tool, and then you can attach a socket to the end. It's one of my favorite tools. And the old recoil is off. Should probably grease this thing up again while it's off. Now, the best thing about Hirth's is you can position this any which way you want. You can reposition this, and you can even change over the handle so it pulls the other way if you so want, depending on how you arrange it. Now, Hirth was also brilliant with this case of, they have here, in case you break your recoil and you can take it off, you can tie a knot here in either of these knots. This is just here for a rope throw. This is your backup rope throw. These little hooks don't go into the recoil at all. They're literally just there for a rope throw, just in case you need. Now, I won't lie, the best part about videotaping this and me doing all this, if I mess up or forget which bolts go, I can just watch the video back. Now, that just unlocked the keeper. So right here, this kind of keeps it away from this grinding on the fan blades, keeps it away. And then in here, there's a keeper that keeps this nut still, because this is attached to the crank. So it keeps this nut still, it keeps this, and so you can pull it all. No, I may need to bring home my impact tomorrow for this. Or not. Or, you know, just brute strength. Always works. Oh, there's the cover off. As you can see, this is the airway. This sucks in air, and blows it out through here to the engine. Now all we have to do is flip her over and do her again. Cool. The funny part about this is look at that one hand motion. The one hand motion was faster than the double finger. So we're going to call it a night here. As you can see, I have a lot of it taken apart. That bottom plate, there's our coils. There's all this. I would still like to pull the crankcase apart here, just so we can have a look at the shaft and clean it all up, get it all cleaned. I do still need to pull off this flywheel, because I'm pretty sure I have one right there. This one right here, as you can see, has a ring gear. This ring gear is for a starter. I still need to locate a starter for this, but a starter goes in right here. I would like to have a starter for this thing, especially for my father. So we're at this stage. I need to go and get a separate puller, pull this off. I need to still split the crankcase. I don't know what bolts are holding it together. Maybe there's some bolts hidden behind here, so I don't know yet. We have that. We can find our coils now, and I think that's the problem, is actually the coils. So I may have to deal with that with the coils. Be nice to swap this flywheel and so on. But for now, this is where they leave, using this toolkit. I like it. So if you want to follow along with us rebuilding a 50-year-old 70s 500 Hirth motor, pay attention, because there's a lot going on. I'm gonna have to jump on the old interwebs, order a gasket set for this, because I just want to do a whole gasket set for this thing, do all new gaskets through the whole thing. We're probably going to just use the original pistons, even though this one does have a couple of gashes in it. It's just maybe put into a snowmobile, nothing for fun. We're not going to race the damn thing, even though this can put out a lot of power. And go through this. A lot of fun. Oh, what have I gotten myself into? So click the next video if you want to keep watching the build, and subscribe to the channel to see more. Good old magnet grabber 3000. It's strong enough that it grabs this and the washer by magnetized. Sorta.